Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. Time for the daily video update. Let's have a look at what's been going on in these markets here. Quick little peek, we saw the U.S. markets are still open and they've had quite a strong run today. Oil's up, gold's up, the S&P's up 21 points right now. The Dow's up about 200. Big risk on kind of a day, yet the currencies don't 100% reflect that. So we're going to have a little peek at that. We've seen quite a bit of news out today. Canada has remained unchanged on their interest rates and so on. So some of that's in the works there. Coming into tomorrow, we have unemployment numbers for the UK. We have meeting minutes for the UK. That's going to be a big mover. Typically is. If there's any kind of a change, it's a big mover. Sometimes it can just be a little bit flat, but that's typically a pretty big announcement there. And then we've got some Canadian and some New Zealand news coming in tomorrow, so we'll keep an eye on that. Dollar index still just kind of bumping around this 79.50 to 80 area. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. As far as the currencies go, it's been pretty chop. The last 24 hours on the euro, we saw a nice rally up yesterday, and then a little bit of a decline, a little bit of a push, and it's just been chop here for the last 24 hours. And I'm still looking for, here's our key crucial level. And remember, this is more of a general area, 131.50. We got to get the market really above that. So the entry probably is more around 131.65, somewhere in there, to take this up to 132.00 and 132.50. So that's kind of what we're looking for, with stops just below this 131.50 area, but we're looking to get it up into that 132.00, 132.50 kind of area. Now, if that's not going to go, if that's just not going to work, I don't want to get in this thing too terribly soon. And as the day kind of goes on, if the markets just continue to go sideways, then these levels will slowly kind of creep up, and this will be updated for the UK notes tonight. But 130.90, as I see it right now, I want to clear 131.00 before I try to sell this thing. You can see it. There's a lot of support down there at 131.00. This is 131.00 right there, and I want to really make sure we get there. So the entry would be around 130.90 to sell this pair and take it back into, the 130 area. But we've got to get out of this channel. So 130.90 to sell, 131.50 to buy. That's what we're looking for. Yesterday in the UK notes, our buy area on the pound dollar was 159.00. You can see that worked out pretty well. Very nice run on that one. But now the pound is just getting really uninteresting to me. I don't want to trade in this chop too much until we can kind of finally get out of it. So 159.85. 158.00. So we've got about 185 pip channel here that's just bumping around, and it has for several weeks. We got a little bit of a peak out here. 200 pips, almost 200 pips may seem like a lot, but this is actually a very small channel for the market to be in 1, 2, 3, 4. Going into 5 weeks with this little exception right here. So a lot of chop in there. We'll see if we can grab some short-term movement, but as it stands, not too interested in the pound dollar for the moment. Euro yen is looking pretty good. Same thing on this euro yen. If it continues to just consolidate and not do much for the next several hours, then I'll look to sell on the break of 105.50. That level will probably move up as we get into the UK session. It could move up to around 105.75, 105.80. Kind of that general area, but what I'm looking for is the trend line and our moving averages and so on, and it's pretty bullish on that very short term right now. So it's going to be hard for this just to turn around and head straight down, which is why I want to see a nice break of 105.50. That should keep us out of the chop and keep us out of the mess. But like I said, that could move up over the next several hours. Otherwise, 106.35 is a pretty good level. I think if we get a break of this, we should have, probably a 70 to 80 pip run fairly easily. Just trading up into these highs puts us into 70 pips, and that's just the day before yesterday. That's nothing too terribly significant. So, 70 to 80 to 100 pips above this level. So I'm watching 106.35, 105.50 for the moment on the euro yen. Not too curious about the pound yen at this point. The Aussie dollar is interesting. We have a nice little double bottom on this Aussie dollar. This guy has just really bottomed out right there and been heading up nicely. Here was our buy area for the morning, 103.85. You can see that turned out pretty well. Not a huge movement, but 25 to 30 pips, so pretty decent. I think that this Aussie is going to be able to continue up just a little bit. Here's what we had happen. And this is what is pretty significant right here, is you can see that this descending trend line right here goes all the way back to the daily chart. And you can see that the Aussie started to kind of bottom out here, and it broke this trend line, ran all the way up, and came right back down and retraced to the top of that trend line. You can see right there. excuse me, and that's where we got our double bottom, and now it's heading back up. I think that this Aussie, I think that was just a nice confirming factor that this breakout is going to have some long-lasting movement to it. So what I'm going to be looking for is just a retracement back to about 104, or excuse me, 103.90-ish area. Get some stops below this support right here, and trade it up from there up into these highs of about 104.40.50. I think should be a good little area. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. No major sell entries on this one just yet. Just looking to kind of get some retracement back to this breakout area, trade it up, and see if we can get back into these highs, which I think we'll be able to. So going to keep an eye on that and watch and see how that one runs. Gold, very choppy today, very choppy. And we're still looking to get away from 1650, and we have not been able to over the last several days. We continue to test 1650, test, and so on. So remember that as gold starts to take off one direction or another, hopefully that'll help the dollar move. We had a big positive day in the equities today, and still gold has not been able to get away from 1650, and I don't believe we're going to see any big movement in the dollar until we see some big movement in gold. That's going to be the big confirming factor. So 1650, super important. So let's keep our eye on that, but we've got some great setups. We'll see you guys in the chat. I'll have some updated notes coming into tonight for the UK session, and we'll see if there's anything we can grab onto in the Asian session this afternoon. Thanks a bunch, everyone. We'll see you in the chat.